What's up, y'all? Doing something different today. Doing something nobody's ever done before. A tier list. But of what, you may ask? Epic rap. Did that ad just interrupt my intro? That ad just interrupted my intro. That ridiculous ad. It's an epic rap battles of history tier list. This one goes all the way up to Joker versus Pennywise. You have it set up? Now let's get into this. I've seen every one of these, so I consider myself an expert. Lennon versus the We'll Do It Live guy. Family Guy made fun of him, and then there's Lennon. This was their first one. Weren't able to do a lot with this one. This one was their first time. They sort of improvised it. They winged it. Can that ad shut up? Disney, I don't care. I swear to God, if they copyright me because it's just a tiny ad, Disney, I'm fucking watching you, Disney. I'm watching you. Alright. This one, slapping it a D. Only reason it's not an F is because it was the first one and I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt. I liked it. No, I didn't. I didn't like it. It's sort of, before they had the identity that they have now, or that they had for a bit, the identity they have now is not good. I'll get into that when we get into the later battles. Now, Darth Vader versus Hitler. What do I have to say? It's Darth Vader versus Hitler. I am Adolf Hitler, commander of the Third Reich. Little known fact, also dope on the mic. You are Vader with your little boots and cape and a helmet to cover up that burnt-ass face. You have a force to move objects. I am a force truly evil. Even went back in time and turns you back into prequel. Because look at you, you're not even a real person. I preferred you in Spaceballs, the Rick Moranis version. And then Darth Vader goes in with the, you can't ride against the dark side of the Force. Why even bother? So many dudes win with your mom. Who even knows if I'm your father? Then just boom, there you go. Hitler's done. And that's not even what my... And then they made two more just as a back-to-back. I was like, oh my god. That was my first ever one I saw of these guys, and I was blown away. And I loved it ever since. Oh my god, the series is so good, man. Alright, next up, Abe versus Chuck Norris. 65 years of the fast. I won the Civil War with my beard. Now I'm here to whoop your ass. I read up on your facts. You cure cancer with your tears. Oh, come and tell me, Chuck. How come you never sat down and cried on your career? S. And then it's Chuck fucking Norris. He spreads more blood and gore of any of Lincoln's puny civil wars. I'm telling ya, if you don't think I'm credible now, alright? Gaga versus News Lady. And all credibility gone. F. Not a very good one. They were still sort of working on it. Not sort of an example of a battle where they sort of just didn't really, they were like, that both kind of bomb. I don't remember a single line from this one. Alright, Hulk Hogan versus Kim Jong-Il. I remember this one being fine. Not very memorable, but not very bad. I remember the effects being bad, and then they went and remade them like a couple years ago. But, yeah. Decent. C tier. Beethoven versus Justin Bieber. That's a solid B. Beethoven kicked ass. Like, that one line where he's like, Justin Bieber's like, oh my god, I hate... Oh, not really. It's like Godzilla squashing a crouton with combat boots on. Like, it's just not much of a battle. It's more of just Beethoven showing up and be like, oh my fucking god, do I really have to deal with this piece of shit? Do I really have to deal with this guy today? That's what Beethoven's vibe gave off to me. Which the fucking superhero land, Disney. Disney, fuck you, Disney. You've copyrighted me constantly. Fuck you. Alright. B. Moving on. Einstein versus Hawking. I can sum up this battle with the opening line. Albert Einstein says, when I apply my battle theory, minds are relatively blown, so take a seat, Steve. Oh, I see you brought your own. That you just know that it's in for a... They use the science terms and are able to work well with them. Like, Stephen Hawking is like, there are 10 million particles in the universe that we can't observe. Your mama took the ugly ones and put them into one nerd. Like, he uses all the facts, He's using them. Good, solid S tier battle. S tier battle. Honestly, these S tiers are in no particular order. Easter Bunny versus Genghis Khan. Genghis Khan was alright. It's another one of those where it's like such a weird combo. The Easter Bunny versus Genghis Khan. Very, very strange combo for sure. Don't really know what they were going for. I think they wanted it to be more like an episode of Looney Tunes where it's like violent dude attacking Bunny Rabbit, but Bunny Rabbit is like avoiding him. Like, oh, look at me, I'm the Easter Bunny. So that's, I guess, what I'm gonna slap that at probably D, because I don't really understand their logic with that. But next one, Napoleon versus Napoleon. This battle, so I like the first off Napoleon Bonaparte versus Napoleon Dynamite. Like that. That's clever. That's clever. But they don't. It's sort of like it was hard to roast Napoleon because it's Napoleon Bonaparte versus Napoleon Dynamite. It's not even a competition. And Napoleon does fine, but then Napoleon brings it home with a line that's like, I'll make you a virgin meringue. You're the only type of dynamite that's never going to bang. So I'm gonna slap it in B. It's alright. It's alright. So Billy Mays versus Ben Franklin. Both of them aren't doing great, but then they sort of bring in Peter and as this guy wearing an epic. I still don't know who he's playing. It's supposed to be like salesman, but it's not a good battle. I'm D. They had a lot. They just basically called Benjamin Franklin fat a bunch of times. Dumbledore versus Gandalf. This is hard. This is like such an iconic pairing. You know, the two most iconic wizards ever. But I'm giving it F because of Dumbledore's last line. He says, "You little snitch. I'm gonna leave and go play some Quidditch." Not the exact line, but I was mad because "you little snitch, I'm gonna leave and go play some Quidditch" wasn't followed up by "bitch." I'm gonna leave and go play some Quidditch, bitch. I just think that would have been a better line, you know? Like Jesse Pinkman style. Now, Shakespeare versus Dr. Seuss. I like how this is an A. This is an A. Good solid battle. Good solid battle. You got Shakespeare who sort of puts in a little, who's putting forth, you know, he's doing all right in his first verse. You know, he's keeping it in old day English and Shakespearean, which I can toot my horn to. He's doing that, and then Dr. Seuss comes in. He draws Cat in the Hat, and then Cat in the Hat spits a verse, and then Shakespeare just he's like, I'm switching up my strategy, and then just starts laying into him. Some of the fastest paced rapping I've ever seen ERB put out, and pretty great second verse. So I'd give the win to A. Now, Mr. Rogers versus Mr. T. Both of them start with Mr. That's all they have in common. This I'd like to describe this as like two siblings. This is like the young angsty child versus the older mature teen child. You have Mr. T as the angst, Mr. Rogers as the mature. Why do you think I was gonna swip him? Mr. T is like, yo, I got you, bro. Oh, you're so done. You're so done. And then Mr. Rogers is like, you call yourself T because you never learned how to spell. And then he's like, what do you mean? It only needs one letter. Oh, the Bill Cosby wants his sweater. And then Mr. Rogers is like, you know what? I've had it with this shit at the end. And then he's like, tell you what, you son, get right back in your van and get the fuck out of my neighborhood. And it's like, oh. He was just passive aggressive until then, and it was just like boom, hit, impact. Gotta respect that. I'm giving that an S to your battle. All right, Captain Kirk versus Christopher Columbus. This one hurt to sort of Watch. Cap. Lloyd does a great impression of Captain Kirk. I'd give him. I'm gonna put it at C. No, I'm gonna put it at F because like so many missed opportunities. I'm going to put any missed opportunities in F. It's Christopher Columbus. This guy was an idiot. I know a lot about him. I know one time. I know he's never set foot on America. I know one time he appeared on an island that he had previously pillaged, and the only reason and they were all about to be like, oh, this guy, I'm gonna stab this guy, bro. This guy, yeah, let's stab him. He was like the only one, and he was like, wait, guys, tell you what, if you come at me, I'll make the sun go away. And then they're like, all right, and then they come at him, and then a solar eclipse happens, and then they're like, Jesus, please, and then he lives. So, could have mentioned how lucky he was in that, or maybe he could have. He knew that because he was a good astronomer, and then he was literally proven wrong before he died, and yet still denied it until he died. But you know what? They could have roasted the crap out of him. But you know what? He gets me a day off, so I'll bring him up to D for that. Nice Peter versus Epic Lloyd. This one was the season 1 finale. This is where they announced that they were giving the rap battles their own channel, and so they decided, what, let's do a thing. C. Yeah, fine battle. Good battle. It was fine. Not very memorable. It's the creators going against each other. Nice Peter and Epic Lloyd. Not bad, but yeah. All right, season 2. I still have a long way to go. Jesus Christ, this is going to be a long video. Season 2, we got. Alright, Darth Vader versus Hitler 2 to S. I strike back hard against the Nazi, bring doth your ass in the air, Yahtzee. Ask Indiana Jones who the fuck I am. I spit shit, sit so focused, I break your concentration camp. I'm a certified Sith Lord, you runt, so suck on these. These what, sir? These robot nuts. I'm gonna enjoy watching you die, so let me do it with my own eyes. You look stressed, Vader. You appear to be in pain here. You need a vacation day. You take a trip on my train, like you leading an army of white men, disgraceful. Even your mic skills still aren't fully operational. You got white bitch pregnant, then give into the hate. Now you're sick and black, but can't get a date. Lightsaber. You need a lifesaver. Use some of your force to fix your fucking respirator. Think you're powerful with your finger next pinches. You can get your own son of the family business. Everything you do is an epic fail. Now stand at attention and sick fucking hail. What's wrong, Annie? Can't take anymore? Yeah, surprising coming from the Emperor's horror. Not surprising. And then, Rancor Pit, and then part 3. You know what? I'll do part 3 now. I want to do this. Vader kills it in this. Alright, let me paint you a picture, son. Portrait of a bitch after your World War I. You were stirring up the fears of the German people, telling the world that the Jews are evil. You wrote a little book, got them fired up. It'll be your whole bush, got them fired up. And when your bunkers started getting fired up, you put a gun in your mouth and fired up. And then he's also is like, did Napoleon let you know when you conquer Russia better pack some fucking winter clothes? Because Napoleon did the same thing bit before, and then Hitler was like, I'm gonna do that again, and both of them failed. So you know what? S tier all around for Vader, Hitler. And, you know what? And I'm not going to say who do I think won. It's Darth Vader. But still, Hitler, this is like the most debated battle in all of history. These 3. Like, most people are going Vader because people don't want to be like, well, I don't want to say that Hitler won. But, he did do pretty good. Master Chief versus Leonidas. Alright, so very good battle. Start of season 2. Great one. Spartans, let's start this. Show this robot bitch who's the hardest. You're in my town, chief. This is Sparta. And then he kicks him. And then I almost fall back like a pro. And then Master Chief is like, not. Master Chief comes back. He's like, no. Not so fast. Cortana says you're, or Cortana. Fuck, did I just do that? Not so fast. Cortana says you're Greek. Why don't you stick these lyrics up your ass? And so just for that, I'm giving it an S. Yes, I don't care. I know Ludwig put it in F somehow, and I don't understand it. All right, Mario Bros versus Right Bros, such a wasted opportunity, and they botched it. Just, you know, they didn't really do anything with it. It's like, oh, they're banging Peach, haha, they're banging Peach. All right, Michael Jackson versus Elvis, S. Ooh, it's about time for a thriller. Didn't lose any chocolate. I just added vanilla. I'm going off the wall. I won't stop till I get enough. Whooping your big fat ass with my shiny glove. How you gonna talk about them birds and bees when you met your own wife and she was only 14? Then you made one daughter. She came to me. I took her to my Neverland ranch to hee. And then I don't even need to go anymore because you wanna know why? Michael Jackson literally married Elvis Presley's daughter. So there's no coming back from that, Elvis. There's literally nothing you can do. So, you know. Cleopatra versus Marilyn Monroe, B. This one's fine. Not the best, you know. You know, because I liked Cleopatra's dancing, but that's besides the point. I liked that one line. It was like, translate this to hieroglyphs. Your sandy vagina has a 7-year itch. And they show the hieroglyphs. Not bad. All right, Steve Jobs versus Bill Gates. S. Let me just step right in. I get things to invent. I'm an innovator, baby. Change the world. Forge 500 before you kissed a girl. I'm a pimp. You're a nerd. I'm slick. You're cheesy. Beating you is apple too easy. Or no, he needs to. I make the product the artist chooses and the GUI that Melinda uses. I need to bring up some basic shit. Why'd you name your company after your dick? And then just oof. And then Steve Jobs is like, all right, I'm dead now. I like that they just basically get into a debate over PC and Mac. I like that. That's clever. It's just debating on whose products. And Steve Jobs is like, you know what? Yeah, and I'm gonna die now. Bye. Because he died like around the same time this battle was released, and then he was like, "Be like that, die then. The whole world loved you, but you were my friend." And then he's like, "Yes, your future is my design." And then it's Hal from 2001: A Space Odyssey. He's like, "I'm sorry, Bill. I'm afraid I cannot let you do that. Look, just take a look at your history. Everything you built leads up to me. I got the power of a mind you could never be. I beat your ass in chess and Jeopardy. I'm writing C++ saying hello world. I'll beat you again about a Daisy girl. I'm coming out my socket. Nothing you can't do can't stop it. I got a laptop in your pocket. How you gonna shoot me down when I got the rocket? Your Cortex just doesn't impress me. So go ahead, try to turn and test me. I stomp on a Mac and a PC too. I'm on Linux, bitch. I thought you knew. My CPU's hot, but my cold one's cold. I'll beat you in 17 lines of code. Mike Sinatra versus Freddie Mercury. A. Alright. Freddie kicked his ass. Rest in peace, Freddie. Rest in peace, Frank. But Freddie kicked his ass really hard. He rocked him. Freddie Mercury is the champion, you know? He doesn't have to find somebody to love after this. His verse was almost as good as a Bohemian Rhapsody. By the end, Frank Sinatra was screaming, "Mama!" Because he kicked his ass. Those aren't actual. I'm pretty sure those aren't lines, but I remember there's one line where it's like, "When I rock the UK, South America gets horny," and I love the delivery of that line very well. Mitt Romney versus Obama, another S. Oh my god, like bunch of S's. Great section, great time period for this. I like that it remains unbiased. This is definitely the best presidential one. It's sort of brings in. They brought in Lincoln at the end, and he just kicks both their asses. And he's like, "The president shall not be the shiniest of two turds," which is something I like because, the past, 20 years, it's basically just been this fucker versus this fucker. It's never been this guy knows what's up. Let him lead us. It's always And then, That's gonna, and then, he slaps both of them like that. Also, great Obama impression by this dude. Great job. Also, I learned something from this. Mitt Romney's Mormon. Because he's, like, knocking them harder than front doors in my old mission days. Initially, I thought that was because, like, he was in the military or something. No, it's because he was Mormon, and Mormons, like, they go from door to door asking people to join their cause or whatever. Either way, Dr. Emmett Brown versus Doctor Who. C. Not very memorable. Doc is sort of just a all over the place performance, just like his actual thing, and then they sort of switch Doctor Who actors throughout, because, he's like, he dies, and then he's like, well, I'm dead. Well, this version of me at least, and then they bring in another one. Then that other one fights, but Doc kills him the first time. He only needs to kill him once. Bruce Lee versus Clint Eastwood. Love this one. Clint Eastwood just does a little basic ones like, oh yeah, I mess up your face, but your mama did it for me. Basic ones like that. And then Clint Eastwood's does fine, like, I'm gonna splatter your face like a poo-poo platter or something like that. And then he hits with that line like, I join you for round 2, but that'd be unbelievable. No one in your family ever lives to see a sequel. And then, because Bruce and his son died. Young, I might add. Alright, moving on. Batman versus Sherlock. D. Not very memorable. Not very good. Batman sort of... And then Robin shows up and he's really annoying, and it's like, why? Can't it just be Batman? And he also took more of a approach to Batman, when I prefer the more cold version of Batman. Right, Santa versus Moses. A, Snoop Dogg kicks his ass and, calls him a slave owner and fat a bunch of times. And it's Snoop Dogg. They got Snoop Dogg for it. It's not like it's some guy playing Snoop Dogg. It's Snoop Dogg playing Moses. Adam versus Eve. D. It's mostly just like married couples, normal married couple fighting, but it's Adam and Eve. So, alright. First Key and Peele one. Gandhi versus Martin Luther King Jr. S. Only one for them to use the N-word. We got more beef than one of your sacred cows, but I'm about to forgive you so hard right now. I am positively resisting the fact that you suck. I'm celibate because I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. Like, oh, Thomas Edison versus Nikola Tesla. Not very memorable one, honestly. D. No good lines. Yes, Usain Bolt versus Babe Ruth. D. Or that, yeah, not there. D. Not very memorable either. Skrillex versus Mozart. A. It's basically like, brings up Skrillex now compared to Mozart. Music. Another music one. This one was definitely much better than the Bieber one, because Skrillex isn't intolerable in this. You know what? Just for that. Because they did it better. I'm bringing it down to C. No, D. Yeah, that's where most of these either they S or D. You're starting to notice that. We are however, the number of S's are sort of going down. Are gonna start dropping once we get to the later ones, but Russians. S. First one where they brought in like more than 3 different characters. They go with Rasputin and Stalin, Stalin has some pretty good lines, Rasputin has some pretty good lines, then Lenin comes in, and he's like, I have no pride for you who ruined everything my revolution was doing to stop the bourgeoisie. I fought the bondage of classes, the proletariat masses, and brought me here to spit a thesis against both of your asses. Let's start with you there, Frankenstein. Look like something out of R.L. Stein's hip-hop chowder, whatever white, and the Tsar's wife can't do shit tonight. And Joseph, you were supposed to be my right-hand man, but your loyalty shriveled up like your right hand, man. My whole future was bright. You let your heart grow dark and stop the greatest revolution since the birth of Marx. And then Gorbachev comes in, and then Vladimir Putin comes in, and it's very, very entertaining battle. Definitely an S. One of the best ones. I believe this was Nice Peter's favorite. Moving on. Al Capone, Blackbeard, B. Fine one. It was fine. You know, I like the choreography in the background where the Assassin's Creed guy came in. That's all I have to say about that one. Joan of Arc versus Miley Cyrus, F. Miley Cyrus is annoying. Joan of Arc doesn't have a good line. Neither does Miley Cyrus. Bad. I believe this is Bob Ross versus Picasso. Again, Bob Ross is too nice. Bob Ross is a legend. Don't try to make him mean. No. This is definitely something they try to fix. Alright. Muhammad Ali versus Michael Jordan. I'd give that one an A. Definitely. The invisible basketball stroke Michael Jordan swings, like, oof. And Michael Jordan, IRL, was a straight savage. And then Muhammad Ali roasting Space Jam, great battle. Second outing of Key and Peele, great one. Great outing of Key and Peele. Alright, moving on. Donald Trump versus Ebenezer Scrooge, A. I was gonna put this at a B, but then I decided A. Donald Trump's verse at the beginning. Dickens of a dump on this lonely, homely, little miserable grump. He's the star on a Christmas tree, you're like the stump. He's not known for his heart, but he's still getting trumped. But he's still trumping. Oh, oof. I will say it's more of a version of Trump instead of like modern Trump. This was Trump announcing he was running for president, so he was not known as a politician like he is now. And Scrooge has come back and he's like, I don't believe in ghosts and I don't believe that hair. And then J.P. Morgan shows up, and then because it's a Christmas Carol, but as a rap, J.P. Morgan shows up, the ghost of rich dudes past, and Yeezy, Kanye, the ghost of rich dudes present, and then just the Grim Reaper telling him, you are gonna die with no one to love you and no one to cry. And then it's like, oh. Alright, moving on. Rick Grimes versus Walter White. You look up to me like I'm a pizza on the roof. Love this interpret of Walter White. Huge Breaking Bad fan, I said, Carl, stay back with the others. Like I finished this bit. Like, I'm gonna finish this bitch like you finished your mother. Another solid line. Walter White has a lot of them, I'm a kingpin, cooking crystal in the middle of the day, having dinner by the pool with the DEA. A, solid A. Superman versus Goku. Again, missed opportunity. Superman, Goku. Super Saiyan, Superman. Don't understand. The horror writers, D, not very memorable. Isaac Newton, Bill Nye. A. Isaac Newton has some good ones. Like, every action has its equal and opposite reaction, except when we both start with rapping, Isaac Newton, Bill Nye's going in. He's doing alright, and then he brings in, like, he's like, yo, listen, and then Isaac Newton's like, yeah, I've got this, and then Bill Nye's buddy comes out of nowhere, Neil deGrasse Tyson comes in, he's like, yo, astrophysics black guy, yo, boom, and then just, he's like, yeah, you're like, he kicks his ass like how he kicked Pluto's ass. Just nice. George Washington versus that guy from Braveheart. D, not very memorable. Leonardo, Raphael, Donatello, Michelangelo versus Leonardo, Raphael, Donatello, and Michelangelo. A. This really smooth verses. Only reason it's not an S is because it just sort of ends. I'm like, oh, I want more of that, Great idea for a battle. Same kind of thing as Napoleon versus Napoleon. Wherever I put that one was ages ago. Oh my god. Ghostbusters versus Mythbusters. D, not very memorable. Romeo and Juliet, Bonnie and Clyde. B, I like what they did with the premise, they all end up dying. Just like how in both their stories, Romeo and Juliet live out Romeo and Juliet, and then Bonnie and Clyde just get shot a bunch of times. Zeus versus Thor. B. I like the Lego animation. I like that. They did yeah, great. Only one to do the Lego animation at this point. They do another one later, but that one's not on this tier list because it's irrelevant. Anyway, Jack the Ripper, Hannibal Lecter. C. I remember the Hannibal Lecter performance was really good, so that's why I did C. But I don't remember any. Oprah and Ellen. The Directors, S. Love this one. Love this one. I love how every line, Quentin Tarantino, Steven Spielberg, Alfred Hitchcock, and Stanley Kubrick, all of them incorporate a Michael Bay line, and then they bring in Michael Bay, and he's like, yo, you all got this wrong. You guys got this business wrong. It's all about motherfucking money. I make that dollar, y'all, motherfucking money. I make Mark Wahlberg make some motherfucking money. Rope shot, got a few drops. Now I'm not got milk money. Rose to the rocks. Now I got socks made of silk money. I ain't got that guilt money. I don't give a fuck. I take my checks to the bank and I sign them with my nuts. I give the people what they love while the critics say I'm evil. Got no time to read reviews because I'm working on the sequel. When it comes to blowing up, no director is my equal. And it's a chaotic verse. Just like a chaotic Michael Bay movie, all of them reflect there. It's like, Steven Spielberg, picture a child sitting next to the projector, learning from your films to become a much better director. Now picture a $3 billion dream machine you can blockbuster all over your crop destined scene. And, he's like, yeah, and then, that was a close encounter, the third kind, but there won't be a pretty ending this time. Half your billion should go to John Williams. Now brace yourself as I reveal my brilliance. I'm the master of suspense so intense, no defense against Hitchcock when she presents. My skill's enormous. Orchestrate William performance. You're more horrible than Megan Foster's acting in Transformers. Just classics. And then Quentin Tarantino. Due to War of the Worlds of Failures, what I label you. You look like some bullshit Michael Bay would do. Ask anybody, what's your favorite Sam Jackson part? No one's gonna say, what's his name from Jurassic Park? Oof. And then he has one line where it's like, the military wouldn't let you join because you were too fat, when referring to Alfred Hitchcock, S tier battle. And then Kubrick is like, his is like, astronomical, power, all that stuff. Lewis and Clark versus Bill and Ted. C. Not very memorable. These two. F. I don't even know what this one is. Never seen that one before in my life. Robocop versus the Terminator. B. Solid, Philosophers. Another S tier banger. Oh my god, they just like have some great lines, like Sun Tzu's like, we use precise strikes to disrupt their concentration. Bitch, I wrote The Art of War, so you better get your guns out. These white boys getting burned, because guess what? Now the sun's out. Ooh, and then, Nisha, or Nietzsche, however the fuck it's pronounced, I'm Nietczsche, and he'll end any motherfucker like his name in a spelling bee. Good. And then Voltaire and Socrates are also there, and then, Lao Tzu beatbox, and then Confucius is like, let me be Ken's heat with you, Voltaire, French doodle with the egg noodle hair, your ego's just so distracting, freedom of speech doesn't mean just keep yapping, like, good one. Shaka Zulu versus Julius Caesar, A. Underrated battle, really underrated battle, Shaka, it's general versus general. I love Julius Caesar's ending line. There's no use in murdering you and your heathen. You can grow my wheat for me after you're beaten. He's not going to kill them. He's going to enslave them because they're black. Moving on. Jim Henson versus Stan Lee. Rest in peace to both of those lads. A. You know what? They both are like, Stanley's going after him, and he's like, you know what, I'm sorry, bro, I'm sorry, I'm just in denial, I'm mad you died, you were like a beautiful sunset at noon, and then Jim Henson's like, no, it's alright, bro, we have a time to go, and then you think he's gonna start roasting him, and he's like, yeah, everyone on the internet thought you died 12 years ago, and then, but then they're like, but then he's like, hey, we've left a bunch behind. And then Walt Disney comes out of here and he's like, I own you! And then they move on. Deadpool versus Boba Fett, A. Deadpool breaks the fourth wall. He's like, I don't even know enough about you to diss you. I know your dad died. That's it. Book of Boba Fett hype, J.R.R. Martin versus J.R.R. Tolkien. Don't remember that one at all. Gordon Ramsay versus Martha Stewart, I think. Gordon Ramsay. Missed opportunity. Gordon Ramsay, just, Thomas Jefferson versus Frederick Douglass. It's basically just like, Thomas Jefferson's like, look at all this stuff I did, and Frederick Douglass is like, oh my god, you're done. But it basically is just like, hey, Thomas Jefferson was racist, because at this point, they sort of take a change to more go to a different route. After this point, this is definitely a big point that they can't really be as offensive anymore. They can't have lines. Including Hitler as a character roasting people, or including lovable people like Mr. Rogers. They're beyond that. James Bond versus Austin Powers. Satire versus also satire. C. They bring in old James Bond, sort of could have brought in a bunch of other spies, but Bruce Jenner versus Bruce Banner, bad. D, actually, they did a Bruce Banner gender change joke. Ivan the Terrible versus Alexander the Great. Ivan the Terrible, C. Ivan the Terrible just works through all of them, and all right, here we go. One I was hyped for. Donald Trump versus Hillary Clinton. D. I would love to have Donald Trump slays in this, and I know this is bad, but Donald Trump does really well, and so does Hillary. You know what, B, yeah, they do fine, they do good, but then Lincoln comes in, he's like, Trump's the bad guy, Clinton beat this guy, and he's got so many good lines, just for starters, I respect females, but your rhymes are trash. Put them next to your emails. Ooh, that's his opening. But then Hillary also is about, oh, you're racist, haha. Ash Ketchum versus Charles Darwin. C. I remember this pairing, but I don't remember a line. Stevie Wonder versus Wonder Woman. B. Stevie Wonder just roasts her. Hockey players. Don't remember this one at all. Forgot that existed. F. Roosevelt versus Churchill. S. Actually, A. It's more of a history lesson than anything. I feel like there are some good lines, if a bullet to the chest won't stop you, my words will, But, again, not the best. Nice Peter versus Epic Lloyd 2. This is where they announced they were taking a break. C. Fine. Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg. B. Fine. Wolverine versus Freddy Krueger. C. Fine. Che Guevara versus other guy. D. Not very memorable. Ronald McDonald versus the Burger King. B. Alright. This is one of the better ones to come out of recent years. The comedians. George R. Carlin versus Richard Pryor. Good one. Got great lines. Bill Cosby shows up and he just is like, no! They're like, get off the stage, Bill! Get off! Get off! He dies of pudding overdosage. That happens. Steve Irwin versus, I think, Jaws guy. Not, again, none of these, all of those, not very memorable. I don't even have to say them, because I doubt any of you knew they existed. The Joker versus Pennywise. B. Both performances are actually pretty good. I liked both performances. It was more of a Mark Hamill Joker and a Billy Skarsgård Pennywise. But I appreciated it, and that's all I have. That's all I have. There's more. I know more came out. More came out. That's it. Alright? That's it.